Students, in the last class I told you regarding the introduction of NMR and how the signals originate when a compound is placed in a high magnetic field. So when it couples with radio frequency of definite strength, energy, signals are obtained, and these signals are analyzed to understand the nature of the compound. So the occurrence of NMR signal has certain significance. The number of signals show how many different kinds of protons are present. The position of the signal or location of the signal shows how shielded or deshielded the proton is. Then the height of the signal or the intensity of the signal shows the number of protons of that particular type, and splitting of each signal shows the number of protons present on adjacent atoms. So these are the key points one has to bear in mind while analyzing the NMR spectra. That is, how many signals are obtained, the position of the signal, then height of the signal or intensity of the signal, then the splitting of each signal. So this is the schematic diagram of NMR spectrometer, where this is a sample holder where the compound is placed into the sample holder, then it is placed into a powerful electromagnet, then the sample is now subjected to a radio frequency transmitter, and when these two combine together, there is a production of the signal, and signals are detected, and the absorption of radio frequency will be recorded in the recorder. Usually, to study the NMR spectra, the sample is dissolved in a solvent. Most commonly used solvents are CdCl3 and D2O. That is, since we are studying the signals produced by the hydrogen, that is proton, the sample should be free from proton, hence they are dissolved in deuterated chloroform or deuterated water. And the signals are measured relative to signals of the reference compound, that is tetramethylsilane. This compound is used as a reference which has 12 protons, and they are identical in nature, they have identical environment, hence the signals of each proton is reported with respect to the signal of the TMS, and TMS has got 12 protons. And in case of HNMR spectrum, the signals are reported from the two hydrogen signals in TMS, but in C13 NMR spectrum, the signals are reported from the shift with respect to 4 carbon atoms in TMS. So now we shall see what is magnetic shielding. Well, if we have to study only the peaks caused by the protons, then it has no meaning. But the protons in the compound are surrounded by different kinds of atoms, and they are bounded to other atoms by means of a covalent bond. Hence, there are electrons around the proton, and each proton is present in different environment compared to the other protons in a molecule. Therefore, the shielding and de-shielding will influence a lot on the position of the signal produced by every kind of proton in a molecule. Hence, the induced magnetic field. In case of applied magnetic field, the valence electrons around the nucleus cause to circulate and they generate their own secondary magnetic field known as the induced magnetic field. So, this circulation of electrons around the protons generates a field in such a way that it opposes the applied field. Hence, the field felt by protons is thus diminished or decreased. In that condition, proton is said to be de-shielded and the absorption for this proton is said to be in the up field. On the other hand, if the induced magnetic field reinforces the applied magnetic field, then the field felt by proton is reinforced. Hence, it is said to be de-shielded and the absorption is known as the down field. Therefore, if all the protons absorbed in the same amount of energy, then no much information is obtained, but the protons are surrounded by electrons and they are spinning with respect to their own axis. Hence, they create a very small magnetic field, and this magnetic field will be opposing the magnetic field that is created by the nucleus. Hence, they shield them from the external field. Therefore, circulating electrons create an induced magnetic field, and this will cause the total magnetic field that is experienced by the proton, and this phenomena is called as the shielding. Hence, different types of chemical environments lead to different amount of shielding. Therefore, circulation of electrons around the nucleus in an applied magnetic field is called as a diamagnetic current, and the nuclear shielding resulting from this is called as a diamagnetic shielding. Hence, the difference in the resonance frequencies among various hydrogen nuclei within a molecule due to shielding or de-shielding is very small. So for shielded protons, magnetic field strength must be increased to flip the proton at the same frequency. So here is an example how the shielded protons or de-shielded protons oscillate with respect to the applied field strength. When there is naked proton, means no other fields electrons are present, so this proton will flip its spin at 60 megahertz radio frequency range, and the magnetic field experienced will be 14,092 Gauss. So when such a proton now is surrounded by electrons, then these electrons to generate a magnetic field which is opposing the magnetic field that is created by this proton. Hence, the diamagnetic field that is experienced when it is kept in a powerful magnetic field is now less. Hence, it is said to be de-shielded. Hence, more energy is required to flip the electron. Then if there is de-shielding, then the magnetic field of proton and the electron will reinforce, hence the net field that is experienced will be less here, hence they are said to be de-shielded. So depending on the chemical environment, protons in a molecule are shielded by different amount. Hence in case of methanol, say these hydrogens are in the vicinity of carbon, which is electron donating. Hence the electrons will be more towards the hydrogen atom. Hence they are more shielded, so they absorb at higher field. But in case of the hydrogen of this OH group, that due to the more electronegative nature of the oxygen, these electrons will be more towards the oxygen. Hence in the vicinity of this hydrogen the electron density is less, hence it is less shielded, so it absorbs at a lower field. That is why the position of the signals in the spectra varies depending on the chemical environment around each proton in a molecule. That is why we will get number of signals. So for methanol, here there are three hydrogens which are directly attached to the carbon, which have same environment. Hence due to the presence of three hydrogen atom, the peak height is more and it is more shielded. That is why it will absorb at upfield, and the hydrogen of the OH group is less shielded, so it occurs at downfield. This peak is said to be in towards the downfield. Hence two peaks are created here, and the height of this peak is less because there is only one hydrogen attached to the oxygen compared to these three. Hence the peak height will be here in the ratio of 1:3. Okay, why TMS is used as a reference standard? It is for these reasons. Tetramethylsilane has chemical inertness, it does not easily react with other compounds, and magnetically neutral. It gives single sharp peak for 12 equivalent protons that are present, and it gives easily recognizable peak, and it is miscible with a wide range of solvents, and it can be easily recovered from the valuable samples. So because of these reasons, the TMS or tetramethylsilane is used as a reference standard in the study of NMR. So with this I conclude this topic. Next I will go to the chemical shift.